Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the Cadre Concept. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and I'm here, as always, with your host with the most, Shane McGraw.
Hostess with the mostess. Lately, I've been eating a lot of hostesses with the mostesses.
Can you just move your camera down? Oh, no.
No, Chris. No, I will not. It's
okay,
boat season.
I won't
got my boat out of the shop. It's been winterized, or de-winterized, and full tanks of gas.
You got some barnacles growing.
Forecast with like 65s.
Oh, man.
So the question is do you stick it in the water so you can get an hour or two a day?
Are we still talking about like moving the camera down, or have we actually literally moved on to your boat?
Well, yeah, we're totally
still a metaphor, or is
well,
this...
because this body's got to look good for the boat. And I'm married to like a supermodel, so she's the hottest chick I've ever met that doesn't know it, which is the best. She's like a country song. And we get on the boat. She's like busts out her bikini thing, and she's just a small town girl just relaxing. I'm like, Carly, you're distracting the kids.
Meanwhile, you got your extra large shirt on.
Yeah, I'm like over here in my, schmedium.
It's for sun protection. I wear long sleeves.
I mean, I'm just cancer cautious.
Right.
So this is an exciting episode. What do you think?
Yes, I'm excited. Like I'm excited because it feels like a TED Talk. Like we're breaking social norms. What?
Me and you, are we qualified to break social norms, Chris?
I think we break them every day. I think we are the exception to the norm. I think we're out in our little worlds doing our things, breaking social norms. So let's talk about it. Like coming from contribution. Why is coming from contribution? I mean, listen, in the last 5 years or more, coming from contribution has been a very popular thing to say, especially in the business world where we're always like, well, we got to like come from contribution so that people know that we're there to help them. But why does that break us? So what is the social norm it's breaking?
Well, I think if you open your eyes and you look out at the community and you recognize the whole of everybody, we're very much an entitled, especially Americans, an entitled society. And what I mean by that is that we expect things to work for us in our favor. So we filter the world, taxes, schools, everything that happens inside of our community, are the roads.
Yeah.
Like the road that leads to your house is more important than the road that doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're like, man, the roads around here suck. No, it's just the road that goes to your house. They haven't got to that yet. But you make a holistic statement that all the roads are crappy because the one you drive on is not good.
Right.
Or has potholes or whatever. Or, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh man, if I had the money, I'd do it so much better. It's them, others, always. It's blaming the big capital G government instead of taking ownership for your actions and recognizing that. So here's the crux of this entire thing. So when you come into a relationship, whether or not it's a body of people or one person or you in the community, whatever it is, there's two things that must be accomplished in order for that to be a valuable value proposition for both parties. If you want to be impactful, it's you have to come into the environment to get something and come into the environment to get something or to give something. So you have to give and you have to get. So if me and you are in a relationship, if you only get and I only give, are we going to be healthy?
Nope.
No, we're not. But we have a society that says, hey, what's in it for me? 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 We'll take something for free at the expense of another person. We'll take something at a discount at the expense of, the whole. We love it when someone over orders their inventory so we can get something for cheap, right?
Dude, I just had a light bulb. Can I share it?
Tell me, please.
I think like in the business world, so we're, I think primarily the audience of this are business people in business, right? I think I see this all the time in marketing, and I see it with myself. I'm going to be super transparent. We opt in for things. We're like, I'm trying to find an angle. I'm trying to find something to break through where I'm at. And so I consume a lot of content. I'll like take webinars. I'll opt in for people's free offers and their PDFs. And I'm always looking for what it is. But even when I find a person who I really resonate with, they're like their message, I'm like, dude, this is my guy. I'm still just looking for what's in it for me. And there's no way that I'm actually trying to establish a relationship because I'm still just in a receiving mode. I'm always receiving. And I think in business, trying to find the final breakthrough, we're just always like, more. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? And we never actually invest in other people's programs. We don't invest in the people who actually resonate with us. Does that make sense?
A lot. I mean, I don't know how you break it completely because we're such a selfish people, by nature. Yeah. I swear all three of my kids, their first words was mine. And they were born the most beautiful
Yeah.
creatures on the planet, but they still are
Right.
like mine, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
they're still always, you know, I think that the closer you are to being, you know, when you're first born, I think you get uglier as you grow.
Uh,
You know, like you're born beautiful inside and out, and then over time you
mm,
start to develop,
mm,
you know, this internal dialogue, and you start
mhm,
to make yourself the main character of the story,
mm.
and it's just not true.
Right. Right.
So if you're the if you know, if you have a vision of, you know, some hot chicks fanning you and feeding you grapes and the world being easy and happening around you because you're in it,
Mhm,
um, you're going to live your whole life carrying this giant of entitlement.
mm,
You're going to think that's how it works, and
mm,
you're going to be miserable, and you're going to get to the end of the race and you're going to
mm.
find out that it's not that way, but you're not willing to do the work to fix it, and you're going to be stuck.
Wow.
I'll tell you, Chris, you know, my, this is a true transparent thing. I see the older generations that we, you know, our elders, the wise men of our societies and communities.
Mhm,
And I'm a little bit concerned for us today,
mm,
because I find more often than not, the older people are bitter, angry, non-participating people.
mm,
They're not sewing into their communities. They're, you know, they're mad at the man. They're mad at the system. You
mm,
know, their health problems are, you know,
hmm.
I read a stat the other day that the average retiree from the day they retire to the day they die spends 250 grand on medical.
Whoa.
Are you prepared for that, Chris?
Wow.
I'm
Nope.
not prepared for that.
No,
If I
that's
ran my whole race
crazy.
and got down to the end and then had my sickness destroy my wealth to where I had to live in poverty,
Mm,
that would suck.
mhm, mm,
It would. But would it suck enough for me to make changes today? Would I go get that life insurance policy that I need
right.
that has a medical rider so that I could have help? Yeah, I'd have
Mhm,
to pay some money for a long period of time, but it's almost inevitable. Did you know 70% of us that die from 3 diseases?
mm. What are they?
I think it's
Do you know?
cancer,
Uh-huh.
heart, and stroke.
Wow. That's crazy.
I don't think stroke is a disease, is it?
Well, it's a condition, maybe,
It's
huh?
a condition.
I
But
don't know. Whatever.
anyways, my point I'm getting at is coming from contribution, your time, like I'm learning for me that I'm not that big of a part of the story,
Mm,
but I can make a big difference in the story by being one of the characters. It's just a weird thing.
right.
Like if
Right.
it was about me, then I would be a lonely path, but I get to be part of the story. So I've been thinking about this idea of coming from contribution. What does it mean? So Chris, tell me a couple attributes of your best friend. Why is he your best friend? He or she?
Uh, just I can be anybody. I can be myself. There's no judgment, right? There's like doesn't matter. Like anything, right? I think that's and that feels safe. That
Hmm.
feels um I don't have to change who I am. I don't have to front. I don't have to posture. I don't have to pretend. I just am. Whoa, I just am who I am, right?
Hmm. I think that's a big part of it, right? Being accepted.
Yeah,
I think
right.
that's like one of the most important parts of being in a friendship or a community is that you're accepted as you are, right?
Yeah, totally. I also think that having really good conversation matters to me. If I think about my love languages, like I really want quality time, like and words of affirmation. When I'm able to have I don't like small talk. So like when I'm able to have deep conversation with people, that fills my tank. And
Mm,
if I wouldn't have a best friend that couldn't have those kind of conversations.
okay. What else? One more thing. So it sounds like the first one is they got to accept you as you are. They got
Yeah,
to love you your way.
yeah. Like they gotta be deep. I think they gotta be able to have conversation and hang in the conversation with me.
Hmm.
Um,
What's another attribute of a good friend?
what else? What else? I mean, they just need to be fun. I mean, I want to hang out with fun people, right? If they're always complaining and frustrated and whatever,
Mm,
then
positive outlook.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what if you took those 3 things and you took it to your best friend and you were those 3 things to him and you made a conviction of that?
Mm,
So you said, okay, so I'm going to, you know, genuinely be interested in him and he can't fail. I'm just going to love him the way he is.
right.
I'm always going to love that about him and I'm going to tell him that regularly. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to call regularly and have a
Hmm.
conversation with him that's intentional about actually hearing the answer to his stories, not saying how's the family and then moving on as transition, just saying
Mm,
how's the family and then being able to talk for 20 minutes about the family,
right.
you know.
Right.
And then the
Right.
last one is I'm going to genuinely use my, you know, I'm going to meet him where he's at with his love language and we're going to have fun doing it.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's what I mean by coming from contribution. Like we all know what it feels like to be loved and we all know what we want, but we're not willing to do it for other people, not at our detriment,
Hmm.
right? I'll give you what you want as long as I'm getting something out of it. And I would say if you go into the world to genuinely impact the world by giving, then you'll get to receive. But if you're not arrows out, then you'll always be without, because your focus is on focusing on the opposite, right?
Yeah. I think we get into it goes back to being present. I think it's easy to get into a place of worrying about what's coming. Do I have what I need? Am I going to be able to provide, do the things I need to do? And so, so there's always that background conversation of like, I'm all about coming from contribution as long as it gives me what I need. Right. Like, it's like,
remember, you have to get something and give something. You have to do both.
But I think that if it in the background, it's like, well, I'm going to come from contribution because I want it to, if it's in order to, right? In order to, I'm going to come from contribution in order to get something, then I think you're missing the point. Like
it's kind of like the server. Have you ever had a server serve you at the restaurant and then they stand and look at you like, so are you going to give me something? Like, so were you helping me, or were you just trying to earn a tip?
Right.
You know, because I don't know about you, but my goal is to only tip authentic service. Like I want them to genuinely be having fun with what they're doing. And I want them to, them to fill up their tank by filling up my tank. I'm entitled to an experience, and I'm not giving you a tip unless you give me that experience.
Yeah.
And then my wife's always like, no, we give tips to everybody. I'm like, why? Why are we a tip everybody society? If they want to earn tips, they got to love their job. Otherwise they got to do something else where they can earn tips.
Because you're back to entitlement. You're like, I'm entitled to a tip. I do think there's a lot of that.
I love it when people, like if I were to talk to a server and be like, why are you serving? I love people. That's why I serve. I mean, I make good money too, but I love people. Well, now they're coming from an authentic contribution, and they're probably in the restaurant. They're probably one of the highest people being tipped. It always follows it. Value your.
Yeah.
I think you receive what you give, but you have to give first. So value always reward always follows value. So if I provide a lot of value to you in return, have you ever had anybody do something really nice for you?
Sure. Yeah.
What is your immediate gut instinct?
I want to do something for them.
It's just the way we are. It's a human condition. So you can almost cheat society by just running around, blessing people, sprinkling happy dust on everybody, and watch people respond to you where you always have a friend. I truly believe the Cadre Concept, I've been focusing on this for a lot lately.
Yeah.
I spent a long time in the mortgage business doing things conditionally to get something back. And my tank was always empty. No matter how much money I make, I never made enough because they weren't loyal long enough, or they didn't give me all their business, or, they were mean to me while I did their business or whatever. I became this thing where like, do you know how much I did for you? Why wouldn't you give me more? And I created my own prison and made my own bars and locked my own door, because coming from contribution is much better than coming from entitlement. Right. So here's what I would say. Every single one of us have this problem, Chris. Everybody does. You have this problem. I have this problem. We think that we're entitled to something because we're in a relationship, but it would better serve us to feel like we're earning it by doing more than we're getting paid for. So if you set into this world to be a good friend, you'll have good friends. If you set in this world to have good friends, you won't have any friends. It's a law of attraction. We get what we put out.
Yeah.
Can we all agree with that? Like, can we agree with that? Is that a thing?
Yeah, totally.
I just noticed I have like a little bump right there, Chris.
I can't see it. Makeup, stage left. Yeah, I can't tell from here. No, I think that's great, man. That is the cultural norm. I love that you said it that way, because that is the cultural norm. And I don't think we recognize it as that. It's like, it just quietly lives in the background, but I think you're poking the bee's nest here a little bit about, like, we have to be the change you want to see in the world. Did you know that tips, I think in the if we go back far enough in the day, like tips were actually given prior to service? Did you ever hear that or know that?
Why do you think that was?
So, I mean, so for example, like, if I was doing some networking events, and somebody just told me to do it. So I did. I went in and I gave my server or the bartender $20 before the event. I was like, hey, listen, thanks for taking great care of us. Here's $20.
I do that at hotels when I travel.
And you know what's funny? Like, they were crazy attentive. They were like, call me by my first name. They were like, what else do you need? Like, they were like over the top great at serving. And it was just interesting. I was like, and I used to work at a golf course and they did the same.
This is our challenge. This is it. let's challenge our audience to go tip first. Let's do a social science experiment and then have them comment.
Right.
So here's the deal. You're going to do it and I'm going to do it. We're going to go tip first.
Yeah.
And the study we're going to do as a group is let's tip by coming from contribution first, no expectations of return, but just a mindfulness of paying attention to how people respond. So the study is, if I go first in the form of tipping first, how do I tip? And then how do I see how they respond? Like, what's the difference? I think it'd be interesting, don't you?
Yeah.
If we can get like 20 or 30 people, I think we could prove our point.
That great case studies. I love it.
That's a good one. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I'll do it too.
So if you're in the audience, I want you to go out this week after you listen to this podcast, and I want you to tip first. And then when they say why, you say, because I'm excited for you to, serve me or whatever your thing is, and then watch and see what their response is.
Yeah.
Do they call you by your first name?
Yeah.
I just your food first. I don't know.
Right. I love good service. Like, I just appreciate you. I just appreciate your smile. Like, here's like, thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for making my drink. Thanks for making my dinner, my whatever. Yeah.
It'd be fun. Like tip first to the frowny guy that shows up. Hey, what do you want for dinner?
Yeah.
Be like, go, dude, here. And watch, see what happens to his body language.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. That's fun.
I think if we're going to be coming from contribution, changing the social norm, then we have to clearly recognize that we have to come to give something in order to receive something. They're not mutually specific. They're collective. Yeah. Like you and me, Chris, if we're going to ever have a good business partnership, you have to come and it's almost like I'm trying to outserve you. I'm trying to do more for you than you can do for me. I'm trying to provide you more value than you're providing me. And then you're doing the same thing. And then what's the sum of that relationship?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's better.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think we're onto something, Chris.
I was just thinking about the 7 F's. And if I thought like, okay, you could create a contribution experiment for each one of the 7 areas, like the tipping first is almost a money thing. If you think about relationships, you're like, how do I give first in my marriage?
Yeah.
Or my kids? I don't know how you do it with your body, but
we should do hashtag go first.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah.
Hashtag go first.
Go first campaign. The go first campaign. Boom.
Come on.
The go first project. Ooh.
I have so many calls during this podcast. Sometimes I feel like I should just take the call and be like, yeah, I'm on a podcast. Let's talk about it. Let's
put them on speaker.
Let me know how you feel.
That's great.
Oh, I haven't paid my bills. I'll call you later.
Right. Can we edit that out? Yeah. That's funny.
All right. I think that's enough, Chris.
If people want to connect with you, reach out to you, jump into the Cadre Concept, like where do people go?
So listen, just to keep hammering this home, a Cadre Concept is highly skilled people working together to complete a mission. And we believe that mission is the betterment of human condition. It starts with yourself, making the choices to be the best version of yourself, and then giving that best version to others going first, and creating an opportunity where people get to respond based on the value you bring rather than the value you demand. And I think coming from contribution is a mindset of bringing more value than you receive, and the struggle that it is to outvalue the next person. It's genuinely understanding that you can't keep score because that won't work. It'll break it. That you have to come from contribution in a way where it's your identity is that you serve and give. Everything flows through you. Nothing stops with you. If it stops with you, it's yours, and it's a selfish mindset. And then you have to agree that you're a work in progress. So you have to tune into systems, processes, resources that are helping you become the best version of yourself. And that's why we created the Cadre Concept as a whole, is because we want to create a bunch of people that are like-minded all across the world with different experiences, different skills, competing with each other to outgive, outserve, outvalue each other so that we can all have the best version collectively. Yeah. So if you go to cadreconcept.com, we have a cool test that we offer. And this is our flagship, and it kind of rolls right into a goal setting process. And we believe in 4 months, we can teach you how to revolutionize your business in sales, business, whatever it is, by focusing on people first.
Oof, that's so good.
And relationships.
So you guys go to cadreconcept.com.
A leader in your marketplace. I think that's probably the way. A leader in your marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys can find that assessment at cadreconcept.com.
Yes, sir. It's all in beta, so it's probably ugly when you get to the website. Just look for it, find it, click the button, and you'll see.
Yeah, I love it. Good stuff, Shane. Thanks, man, as always. And until next time.
I'm honored. Go tip first, huh?
Yes. Tip first.
Okay. See you later, dude. Hashtag.